Yes, for those who have been waiting, I finally have done it. So I hope you enjoy.
Deku. Not all men are born equal. I learned that from a young age. We see a 4-year-old Izuku Yagi playing with a 4-year-old Katsuki Bakugo in a clearing in a forest. Bakugo creates small explosions resembling firecrackers. Bakugo. Deku, so when you going to get your quirk? Deku. I don't know, Kakon, but me and Izumi is going to the quirk doctor later. We skip to a few hours later. The Yagi family in the quirk doctor's office. It's a plain white room with a window in the back. The walls is covered in animal pictures. There is a fold-out bed in the back left corner. A desk with a bunch of books is behind the door. The quirk doctor is a old 5'3" man. With a professional look. He has a big gray Eggman looking mustache. Quirk doctor. I have some good news and bad news, Ms. Yagi. Inko. I would like the bad news first. Quirk doctor. Your son is quirkless. Inko. I see, and the good news is. Quirk doctor. Your daughter has a powerful telekinesis quirk. Inko mood shifts 180 and takes her daughter into a loving embrace. Izumi. So does that mean I can be a hero? Inko. Of course you can. Deku. I thought that was where the hardship ends. I was sadly mistaken. For the next 10 years of Deku's life was a living hell. Deku was bullied, battered and tortured by his sister and her friends, all because he wants to be a quirkless hero, and his life at home was the same. Toshinori Yagi aka All Might didn't take the news very well over the next 10 years of Deku's life. Inko and Toshinori completely ignored Deku's existence in favor for the more gifted child. We cut to Aldera Junior High. We see Shoto Todoroki and his twin sister Shoko Todoroki talking to Izumi. Deku walks into the classroom and gets a bucket of water dropped on his head. Katsuki Bakugo and his twin sister Katsumi Bakugo start laughing at Deku. Katsuki Bakugo. Hey Deku, you really should have come today, cause it's not like you will learn anything, you worthless quirkless Deku. Deku walks to his seat in the back of the class in the corner next to the window, his desk covered with spider lilies and writing. The teacher walks and shouts at Deku for messing up a new desk. Teacher. Young Yagi, refrain from messing any more desks anyway. Well, today we are going to be checking out your career paths, but I know you all want to be heroes and have 6 people in this very class that have signed up for UA, the Todoroki Yagi and Bakugo twins. The entire class looks at Deku and burst out laughing. The Bakugo twins slam their hands on Deku's desk, creating an explosion, sending Deku flying back. The school bell goes off and everyone starts walking out the class except for Izumi. Todoroki Bakugo twins stay and beat up Deku for an hour. Deku is leaning against the back corner with one of his arms completely broken, with a bone sticking out of his elbow. A handprint burn mark covers his left eye and blood trickles out of his mouth. Izumi Todoroki Bakugo twins goes to walk out, but Katsumi Bakugo turns around with and has a psychotic grin on her face. Katsumi Bakugo. Oi Deku, if you want to be a hero that fucking badly, there might be a way. Take a swan dive off the roof of the building and pray to Lucifer that get a fucking quirk in your next life. Izumi Todoroki Bakugo twins burst out laughing while walking out of the classroom. Deku get up and walks out of the school. He had to an underpass. Deku removes his school jumper and uses it as a makeshift sling. Deku then leans against the wall of the underpass as the Soa grate behind him shoots off. What comes out of it is a person made of complete dark green sludge except for a red eyes and a solid mouth. The sludge villain sees Deku sitting against a wall. The sludge villain looks at Deku. Sludge villain. Sweet, a skin suit. Deku looks at the sludge villain and the sludge villain stops. He sees how battered, bruised and broken Deku is. Sludge villain stops in its stride towards him and has a solemn expression. Sludge villain. Why you look like that, kid? Deku. I thought you're gonna take over my body. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Sludge villain. Let me guess, you got a villainous quirk or a weak quirk, cause then I would understand why you look like that. Deku. Fuck it, I'm quirkless, so if you want to just walk away or do anything else, then hang out with me. The sludge villain wraps tentacles around Deku and carries him away. Deku's confused but decides to just go with it. For the minute they end up on top of a tall roof of an empty building. The sludge villain gently puts Deku down against the fence. Deku groans a little bit in pain. Sludge villain. Sorry kid, just All Might was after me and I didn't want to have a conversation cut short, so tell me about your life. Deku then goes on to explain his life to Sludge Villain, from having a few best friends to having just himself. The fact is parents ignore him for his more better sister. Over the conversation that the Sludge Villain looks more sad and starts crying. Sludge Villain. Holy shit kid, you've been for a lot for your age, and usually people don't learn that people are born equal until they're at least in their 20s, take it from me. Deku. Ha ha ha. Sledge villain. Kid, what's so funny? We're trying to have a serious moment here. Deku. Sorry, it's just both of my parents are pro-heroes, and yet I have more in common with villains. They both go quiet for a few seconds after that, and then they both start laughing at this, but then Deku holds his side in pain. The sludge villain and looks concerned about Deku's situation, and Deku just waves him off. Deku. I got a really good pain tolerance from all these years, so long where it's just a few broken bones, probably one of my ribs piercing along. Sludge villain. Kid, that's nothing to laugh about, you need to see a doctor. Deku. I would if I could, but no local doctors are her. Fact that no doctors in the entire country taking quirkless a pro-hero brings them in, and even then that's rarer than getting a handshake with All Might. The sledge villain and gets up and starts heading off the roof. The sledge villain and they wave to each other, and Deku just sat on the roof watching the sunset. As narrow as he looks at the fence next to him, he ain't shakes his head and heads to the forest not far from the Yagi house. Deku grabs a few sticks and rips up his school jumper and makes a proper arm swing. You then uses what bits of fluff he has left to make a eye patch. Since his left eye's completely knackered, Deku pulls out a pair of scissors and cuts his hair short. We cut to the next day where Deku is walking into class to see. His desk is just like yesterday. Deku casually tips everything off his desk. I'm sitting his chair with his feet up on the desk. The teacher walks in and sees this. Teacher. Yagi, please remove your feet from school property. Deku. I will, maybe when your wife stops sucking the postman's dick. Everybody stops and looks at Deku and his new change of attitude. The Bakugo twins stare at Deku with a narrowed glare. Deku raises his middle fingers at the both of them. Everybody looks at Deku with a pale expression. That's when the teacher wants to see how far this can go before it gets out of hand. The Bakugo twins walk up to Deku and slam vote for their hands on his desk, destroying it with explosion. Deku stands without flinching. His expression is serious. The entire class sees one of his arms is in a sling with the bone sticking out of the elbow. Deku grabs Katsuki Bakugo by the head and slams it onto his knee. He then looks at Katsumi and punches her in the face, knocking her out. That's when Shoto Todoroki decides to just settle this and shoot a small bit of fire at Deku. He grabs Katsuki by the hair and uses him as a human shield. Shoto immediately stops shooting fire and Deku punches him in the face. That's when Izumi uses telekinesis to grab his clothes, stopping him from moving, but Deku slides out of his t-shirt, revealing an 8-pack of abs before the class could say anything. Deku grabs a pencil case from the desk next to him and tosses it right up Izumi's face, leaving a mark. That's when Deku decides, is that enough for this, and walk right out the class. The teacher's surprised because that all happens within a minute. We then cut to after school. Deku is chilling in an alleyway fixing up his sling. That's when he sees Bakugo and Todoroki twin coming down the alleyway with a mad expression. Deku pulls out a cigarette and lights it in front of them. Deku. You fuckers want to go round? Before he could finish, Shoko shoot a huge wave of ice at Deku. Some of these biked parts of it stab him in the shoulders and legs, pinning him to the wall. That's when Katsumi glaze at Deku and grab his neck. Katsumi. You think you can just humiliate us like that, you quirkless shit? We're going to make sure these last minutes of your life will be hell. Deku. Too bad, unlike you I bought a friend. They look at Deku with a confused expression, but that's when the sludge film crawls out of the sewer and uses the sewer lid and the wax Shoto on the head, cracking his skull and knocking him out. They all look at Deku and Deku grins while blood starts leaking out of where he was stabbed with the ice. Thank you. Watches Bakugo twins and Shoko fight the sludge film for around an hour. Deku just grins the fact that they have the sludge villain completely encased in ice. That's when Shoto get up and glaze at Deku. He stabs Deku with more ice and walks off. Deku cough more blood and looks at the sky. The ice starts to break as the sludge villain manages to break free. You then looks at Deku. Sludge villain. Your kid, you good? Yeah, what am I saying? Probably don't have long left. Deku. Don't beat yourself up about it. Hey, at least I didn't commit a sin before I died. Sludge villain. Seriously making jokes? Deku. Yeah. Deku slowly closes his eyes and hears a car horn, and his eyes open. He slowly gets and looks around to see he's in a city. He looks around to see buildings that look really old-fashioned, like late 1900s to early 2000s. He looks at the car to see it's a really old-fashioned. Deku looks at it with confusions. Random demon. Kid, get out of the fucking road. Deku moves out the way and the demon just looks at him while flooring it away. Deku is confused, but then he sees what looks like robots killing demons. Deku's confused at this, but then he sees a huge pentagram on the moon. Deku goes quiet, event size and Getty's stuff, and walks out of the way. He then Hears a scream and as he runs to check it out he sees a blonde girl with pale skin and pink circles on her cheeks with a tall dark-skinned girl with bushy white hair and two horns. He sees one of the robots-looking things about to attack them, so that's in front of them as he darts in front of them. He feels his t-shirt get ripped off as the spear goes to him. It hits one of Deku's wings made of pure weapons. The spear gets a soft glow and then breaks. The angel looks at Deku with wide eyes. Random exterminator. Just what the hell are you? Deku pulls out a double-barrel shotgun with some intricate carvings. Deku. Boom bitch. Before the angel could say anything, Deku pulls the trigger, reducing the angel to a mist. The blonde-haired girl peeks over his wings and sees what he did to an exterminator. Charlie. Hi, I'm Charlie Morningstar. Deku looks at the double-barrel shotgun. His eyes are slightly wide and he then noticed his wings and walks to a shop window and sees his new look. His hair is short, messy and green like before he cut it. His eyes are green with a red tint and his wings are made of multiple different weapons. Charlie taps Deku on the shoulder and Deku snaps out of it. He looks back at the two girls he saved and he sees they have a slight worried expression. Deku gives him a kind and sweet smile. They look at Deku and that's when the tall dark-skinned girl introduces herself. Clara Carmen, and I'm the daughter of the best arms dealer in hell, but I've never seen that kind of weapon before and I've seen a lot of weapons. Deku. How is actually a friend of mine. Shotgun. Yeah, we don't talk off often, but when we do it's mainly just have fun. Clara. Mind if I have a look at it? Deku holds up the shotgun for her. As soon as she touches it a shock runs through her body and she drops it into Deku's hands. Deku is confused but then he sighs. Deku. Right, forgot only who he trusts can reel his weapons. Charlie. Well, I think we should get out of here before more come, and not all of us have angel-killing weapons. Clara. Well, my mom has a safe house for the purges. Me and my sister were on the way there before this happened. Charlie. And I have a hotel that is safe during the purges. Deku picks up both of the girls and starts heading towards where Clara said where the safe house is. Charlie. What's the plan? Deku. We're going to take Clara to her sister and then we'll head to this hotel you have. After 10 minutes of Deku flying, Charlie decided to ask a question that's been on her mind. Charlie. So how long have you been in hell? Well, since you don't know about the exterminators I'm guessing under a year, but since you don't know you were around I'm guessing around a week or two. Deku. Hot, try around 20 minutes. Both girls look at Deku surprised, but that's when Clara sees her sister and Deku drops her off. Odette. Where the hell have you been? Odette sees Deku's wings and dragged her sister behind her while pulling out an angelic weapon. That's when Clara stuns in front of Deku and decides to explain the situation. After she explains the situation, her sister stops and just looks at Deku. Odette. Well, thank you for protecting my sister. Or Mom will get in touch with you after the purge if you just tell us where you'll be staying in the meantime. Deku. It's nothing, I don't need anything in return. Odette. Sorry, but the Carmen family doesn't like to be in debt to anyone. Charlie. Well, until you combined a place he will be staying with me at the hotel. Deku just gives a simple nod and spreads his wings. Charlie Dayton hops on his back and they fly to the hotel. Charlie sees the page from a bird's eye expression goes solemn at all of the people being massacred. Deku sees this and likes South a soft side. Deku. Heaven is afraid. Charlie. What? Deku. See, when you think about heaven and hell you think of a place where people go when they die, but in actuality it's like two different species. One species has the power relax manpower to execute it, while the other has the manpower that lacks the knowledge. If one rises up the other is screwed. But souls in heaven and hell are the exact same. Without one the other can't survive, and without the other can survive, because if all went to heaven good and bad you'd be worse than earth, and the same if it was the opposite way around. Charlie. You got all that from just a few minutes in hell. Deku. I used to analyze abilities in that for a few years, but still technically do analyze them. I only think of ways to neutralize him now since I have a simple code and saying. Charlie. What is it? Deku. Power without ideal is empty, and ideals without power is useless. Sometimes the greediest people are the ones that are more human than the ones who just seek power for the sake of power. The rest of the ride to the hotel is quiet. Charlie is thinking about what Deku said and how he explained heaven and hell. She never saw it like that. She mainly saw it as once for good people, once for bad, but now she has an outside his perspective. She sees they're not much different, and then she realizes that they're both souls. So wouldn't angel weapons work against angels? We cut to the hotel and we see a pale-skinned girl with long hair that reaches to her behind. She has a ragged X over one of the eyes and she looks panicked. She's walking around the living room of the hotel. Vaggie, where is she? Extermination's being going on for around half an hour and she's not back yet. Angel Dust. Come down. Badges knowing her should be back any second now and probably dragging a new sinner with her. As Angel Dust says that, Charlie comes barging in dragging Deku behind her. Vaggie rushes to Charlie and checks her over for any injuries. That's when she sees Deku's wings and looks curious to them. Vaggie, so what's as with your wings, kid, and you don't look like an angel or a demon I've seen, and I've been around hell a lot longer than what you have. Deku, yeah, and I literally just got here a few minutes ago. Angel Dust, well, that's kind of bad luck, especially during the purge. We cut to the next day. Everybody is going back to normal in hell and in the living room face to face with Carmilla. Carmilla, let's get straight to the point. As my daughter said, we don't like to be in debt to anyone, and I heard you have a Pacific Angel killing shotgun. Deku, not angel killing, but it can kill almost anything. I know it killed a Dark Lord I've seen do a lot of damage to things, and this is the more modern version. Here's an old-fashioned one that literally. Carmilla, yeah, may I have a look at this weapon? I'm sorry, but I just don't want to see it's being used for the wrong reasons down here. Deku pulls out the double-barrel shotgun and places it in front of them. Everybody takes a good look at it, and then Lucifer walks in, his eyes wide, and he slowly backs off. Lucifer, may I know where that came from? The room goes quiet as Deku turns to Lucifer. Deku, what you know, John? Lucifer slowly takes a step back, pushing himself right against the wall, panicking internally about somebody who's on a first-name basis with the Doomslayer, a man who can literally slaughter billions of angels and demons in the manner of minutes, and this kid says his name right, just talking about an old friend. Lucifer, how do you know him? We cut to a flashback. A 5-year-old Deku is walking around the forest and stumbles through a red portal. He then sees a big man in a suit of armor killing demons. Deku, cool. The Doomslayer just looks at Deku and just hands him a pistol. Deku grabs, sets his hands a trembling. The fact that somebody just gave him a gun. A demon goes to attack him, but he really aims it and pulls the trigger. Something snaps in Deku and he throws the gun away and starts rushing up the demons, punching them, letting out all of these rage. The Doomslayer sees a miniature him and tosses Deku to spike gauntlets. Deku puts them on and starts going absolutely crazy on them. A brown-head's bunny girl appears. Daisy, yo John, who's the kid? Doomslayer, don't know, but I think he's been abused and his anger is just being let out on those poor demons. Daisy, no offense, I even feel bad for those demons because at least you make it quick. That ain't quick, slow, or painless, that's just mindless massacre. Yo kid, what's your name? Deku, just call me Deku, everyone else seems to. They go out killing demons for 40 minutes, and that's when the Icon of Sin sees them. Deku turns his head slowly with a maniacal smirk. The Icon of Sin takes a step back in consideration, and Deku just rushes at it and start going absolutely ballistic on it. The Doomslayer and Daisy is surprised. The Icon of Sin never steps back when seeing him, but yet this little kid scares the hell out of demons. We cut back to the hotel. Deku, so yeah, that's how I met the Doomslayer, and since then I went back to his universe to rip apart demons, angels, and anything of the sort. It's very simply. We cut to the human world. A party is going on in the Yagi house. Aizawa, Rei, and Midnight looking around the party. Inko, are you three okay? You're looking around like an idiot. Rei, we're looking for Izuku. Inko, he's probably in his room. Inko heads up the stairs. 5 minutes later comes down looking panicked. Everybody looks at her. Inko, I went to his room, but it was Azumi's gym. Everybody at the party looks around every room to try and find Deku's room. After around an hour they all head back to the living room. Inko, I don't understand, last time I checked that where his room was. Izumi, I know where his room is. Everybody in the party looks at Izumi and she shows everybody to the stairs. Inko, what are we doing next to the cupboard? Izumi opens it and a huge whiff of the smell of rotting meat. Hound dog runs to the bathroom and vomit. Aizawa has a look and sees a bunch of painkillers, an unsafe amount. He sees bandages covered in dried up blood and the USB. He also sees a 8-pack crate of vodka in the corner. The mattress is a dirty old one with springs sticking out of it. He then sees a shelf with 18 hero analysis for the future. Nezu grabs the USB and heads to the TV in the living room. He then plays it. They see Deku inside of the room that they just wet had with his arm broken in a makeshift sling. Hey, eye patch from a ripped jumper. Night Eye is about to say something, but Aizawa stops him. Nezu hits play on the video. Deku, What's good fucker, if you're watching this, I am dead since I was 4 and I was known as quirkless. My life went to hell. If you're under in hell, well, how about you ask the Yagas when was the last time I was at their dinner table? Oh, and Auntie Ray and Auntie Mitsuki, the few nights I stayed at your places. Well, let's just say you're acting more like a mother to me than my own. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Uncle Azwa, I want you and Nezu to have my hero analysis, and Auntie Midnight, you can have what's left on my vodka stash. I know I'm too young to have it, but quite frankly it doesn't really care. When you're quirkless Uncle Hound Dog, there are some scented candles in a metal tin that will help with the heat season from your quirk. There's still a bit experimental, but it should lessen it as long as you can smell Uncle Night Eye. I want you to have Ebony and Ivory there in a leather cafe zen. Well, they're these. As he says that, he pulls out to 45 long slides with intricate carvings, with one of them having Devil May Cry on the side. Deku. And I know you don't like to use guns, but please look after them, because if I can I will be back for one day. And Grandpa Torino, I want you to have to look after my dad's dog Tags. His military uniform should be in a leather military case at the end of, well, my makeshift bed. And if you're wondering why I look like this, well, you can blame that bitch I call a sis and her 4 fucking friends. No, I know you were hoping for a farewell or something like that, but I don't give a shit, and I think that's everything. Anything else split between yous, but I don't want those 7 to get any of my stuff. After that, Ray, Mitsuki and Midnight are crying. Inko is starting to cry, but Azwa glaze after making her stop. Endeavor's flames are staring to heat up the room, but Ray calms him down. Night Eye and Gran Torino both stare at All Might and Night Eye holding the path Mitsuki from going to rip out their throat. Hound Dog is grilling at the kids. Mitsuki, you had an amazing boy and yet you treated him like he wasn't yours. Before she could say anything else, Nezu decides to track Deku's phone. That's when he realizes nobody has Deku's number. Mitsuki pulls out her phone and hands it to Nezu. Mitsuki, it should be saved under wanted son. Ray, so what phone did you get him? Mitsuki, actually he's using his dad's old phone. Azwa, Hasashi's 2000 Nokia 3310, it's still running. Mitsuki, it's over 300 years old. Those things are built to last. Azwa, I'm sure that thing blocked Hasashi from a 9mm round. Endeavor, yes it did, I was there. We cut to an hour later where everybody is walking to the alley where the sludge villain fighting the kids. They all see Deku pinned to the wall with ice with blood coming out of everywhere. He was stabbed and his blood is coming out of his mouth. Inko and All Might are about to run to Deku, but Azwa punches All Might's in his skinny form in the face, making him stumble back. He's about to hit Inko, but Ray stops him. Ray, I'm going to bury him next to what's left of Toya. Inko, that's my son, you ain't burying him nowhere. Nezu, you're lucky those 5 I wanted in UA by the Hero Commission don't push your luck, Mrs. and Mr. Yagi. Inko and All Might take a step back in fear. Azwa whispers something to Nezu and Nezuyu gives a soft nod. Nezu then looks at Izumi, Bakugo and Todoroki twins. Nezu, you 5 will have to take the regular exam and you'll be on thin ice. Feisty, you bullying or harassing anyone, you'll be straight down to general education and there won't be no going to the hero course after that. And understand, Mr. and Mrs. Yagi, the Hero Commission wants you to teach at UA, but you're only be teaching heroics and keep it strictly business or you will say goodbye to your teaching job within a heartbeat. Inko, but Nezu, but nothing, it's my school, I can run it how I see fit. Okay, OS what if you're the number 20 and 1 hero? Do I make myself clear? The Yagis nod with the Bakugo and Todoroki twins. We cut to 6 months later in hell. Everybody is getting ready for the fight against Adam and the exterminators. Deku was adopted into the Carmen family since Carmilla didn't want somebody with Deku's power and skill just doing whatever, and it helps. That's she also wanted a son. Deku fits into their family quite well and is getting used to hell, and Deku didn't go with Charlie to heaven because they wanted to keep him a secret just in case things went south. We cut to the battlefield 2 minutes before the fighting starts. A portal starts to open in the sky. Veggie. Alright, hold up, where is Izuku? Angel dust. His mom is keeping him at home for now, but he might bring back up. We cut to halfway through the fight. Heaven's side is winning because they have the superior numbers and the fact that they're in the air. The battlefield goes quiet as they start hearing guitar and drums. Deku comes out the building with the 2 miniguns under his arms. Deku, I came here to chew gum and kick ass and I'm all out of gum. A bunch of exterminators decides to get gutsy and rush at Deku. Deku immediately lights them up with his minigun, killing them all instantly. Adam's eyes widen and before he could say anything, bullets flying his general direction, ripping apart his wings. He hits the ground panicking and he orders his Exterminated to protect him, ridiculous, shredding through them like they're absolutely nothing. After a minute of continuous fire from the miniguns, they finally stop. Adam. Hey dumbass, you run out of ammo. Deku. I don't need ammo. An exterminator rushes at Deku, about to impale him in the chest, but Deku turns around and bites the end of the spear and breaks it. The exterminator's eyes slowly widen. Deku grabs his throat and rips it out. Deku turns to the rest and has a manic grin. A handful of exterminators rush at Deku and Deku Stats, grabbing them by the throat and ripping them apart. Deku bites on one of them next and rips their throat out. Deku is covered in angel blood, making him look completely glowing white. He then slowly walks to Adam with a manic grin. Deku. Adam, quite the pleasure. Adam. Who the fuck are you? Deku. Izuku, and I'm about to end your fucking life. Deku pulls out the double-barrel shotgun and shoots Adam right in the face, reducing him to a mist. Deku rations the shotgun in the air and everybody starts to celebrate. The rest of the exterminators are retreating with Luda staring at Deku. Lucifer appears in a rubber ducky suit, breathing heavy and looked at the massacre. Lucifer. I guess I'm late to the party, but at the same time it doesn't look like I would have had much if I would have made any sooner. Deku. Where's Pinches? Deku sees everybody goes quiet at that and Deku just sighs. Deku. Hey, at least he's in heaven. Everybody stops and look her. Deku. Charlie. I'm sorry, what? Deku. Rehabilitation does work. I've seen 2 demons in my lifetime actually do it, but it has mainly a fear, not in the sense they wanted to change anyway. Deku turns to see the hotel's duster. Lucifer decides to help them rebuild the hotel. After the finished rebuilding hotel, Husk heads to his new bar and starts pouring everybody drinks. Everybody is having a sort of party for job well done. Everybody is having a good time. June, the massive party. Charlie gets hold of a beer for Angel Dust. Charlie is getting a bit more flirty. Would Vaggie looks at Deku with a slight blush on her face. Decibelings at the sight. Angel Dust. Hey, then you all see my beer. Angel Dust sees Charlie and just blinks with a slight smirk. Angel Dust walks up to Deku and whispers in his ear. Angel Dust. Well, I'm gonna just warn you here and now, she's gonna be a little freaky. Deku. What do you mean by? Deku sees Husk holding up one of Angel Dust energy drinks and Deku just goes quiet. Before he could say anything, he feels a nibbling on his ear and sees Charlie and Vaggie both completely drunk with a slight look of lust in their eyes. Deku. 1 to 10, how strong was that one? Angel Dust smokes and with all for this hands raises 5 fingers. Deku goes quiet at that. Deku about to walk away. Charlie turns into her demonic form and picks up Deku and starts carrying Deku to their room. Husk looks at Angel Dust with a smirk. Husk. So is there a reason why you're not mad? Because like you said, that is an expensive drink, especially when you mix it with booze. Angel Dust. We both know I wasn't going to use it today, so at least it is going to be put to good use. Alistair. You think he has enough stamina for the both of them? Alistair. Husk and Angel Dust just look at each other and shrug. We cut to the next day. A dark room with bed sheets and blankets and pillows are all over the place. The room is a complete mess. Charlie and Vaggie slowly get up, holding their heads with a hangover. They both sit her and see they're completely undressed, and for it was just another night of the 2 of them, but then they feel something cold and metallic wrapped around them. They both look under the blanket. You see a peacefully sleeping Deku, Charlie and Vaggie eye looking at each other and realize what they've done. They go atomic red. Deku slowly wake up and sees them both and wraps them in close with his wings. You wraps them both in close and falls back asleep. Charlie and Vaggie both look at each other. Vaggie. Why aren't you at least nervous? You have 2 girls in the same bed with you naked. Deku. After last night I don't think I'll get frosted from some things like that anymore. Charlie crawls into the middle of them both with Vaggie, and Deku's wings are back to back behind her. Charlie. Vages, please stop trying to tease our boyfriend. Vaggie and Deku looks at each other and shrugs. Snuggle back up together for a few more minutes. We cut to in mansion where we see a slim beautiful girl with long black hair tied into spiky ponytail. She's just completed a puzzle and going through a box of puzzles. She then finds a gold and black puzzle cube. Momo. I wonder what this is. She traces her fingers across the edges and a soft click is heard with a tune sound sweet but yet demonic. We cut back to hell. Deku hears the song and puts his pinky in his ear trying to clear it out. Deku. Do you hear that? Charlie and Vaggie both look at Deku, just waves and just ignore it since it stopped. Charlie and Vaggie. And I can't feel my legs. Deku. I guess more snuggling. Charlie and Vaggie rolls their eyes and snuggles closer. Deku. Not all men are born equal. I learned that from a young Deku. You wasn't lying, were you? Just know all of us have some level of potential. Could you expelled entire class last year because they made fun of the quirkless? Momo. That can't be. Aizawa. You hit the nail right on the head, problem child, but Mineta, I have to warn you, if you don't stop being a pervert you will not make it past the end of the school year because Carmen will kill you if you even try to peek on his girlfriends. Everybody splits up, some headings orientation while the rest heading to the dorms. Everybody gets settled in and decorating their dorm rooms. Some of the boys and girls are sat in the common area. Everyone sees the door open. Vaggie. Orientation was so boring. Vaggie's eyes lock on the people sat in the common area. She remembers seeing Deku pick all of them out, but then her eyes lock on Izumi. Vaggie scarfs and put her spear in the umbrella rack. Denki. Hey Juro, you think that's the girl he warned us about? Juro. 500 yen if you flirt with her. Tokiyami. The shadows are telling me that's a bad idea. Denki is about to get up but Charlie walks in and sees Vaggie, runs up to her, then Vaggie picks up Charlie, kiss her with their start to tongue rape each other. Everybody is quiet. Izumi. Hey sluts, get a fucking room. Deku walks in and sees what's happening. One of his wings point at Izumi and cocks back. Everybody takes a step back and Izumi is sat there shaking in fear that when Deku notices Vaggie trying to brief, Deku pulls Charlie away from Vaggie. Vaggie lands on her knees breathing heavy. Charlie goes to Vaggie's side and starts patting her back and apologizing rapidly. Deku. Vaggie, why did you think it was a good idea to get into a tongue wrestle with her? Vaggie. I forgot how much air both through yours can hold, since you two could keep talking for around 20 minutes without getting out breath. Everybody goes quiet at that. Vaggie. What's Pikachu's deal? It looks like he just watched his worst nightmare. Denki. Okay, who the hell is Pikachu? Deku. Vaggie and Charlie look at each other. Kirishima. By the way, what's your problem with people being perverts? Deku. I have no problem with perverts, just when the transplant my girlfriend's hell, I'm friends with a porn star anyway. I'm going out for a bit to help him. I won't be back till late. I've already told Nezu. Mineta. Really, what's the account on? Vaggie. He's a gay porn star, will be waiting for you in your room. Iida. Isn't male and females on the opposite side of the dorms? Charlie. We have permission from Nezu to share room. Vaggie just raises her middle finger at Iida. Deku grabs Every and Ivory in a black leather jacket. Deku heads out of the building and activate the card. After a small bit of flames, he's inside the imp office. Deku sees Blitzo at his desk and sees Luna sitting on the couch. Blitzo. Hey Deku, just the man I've been waiting for. Deku. Cut the shit, what's the biz? Luna. He wants us to do a job since the other two are doing who knows what, who knows where. Deku. So who's the target? Blitzo. Portuguese, no hello or nice to see you again. Oh well, the guy who's made of sludge, so shouldn't be that hard to miss. Simply the big guy made of complete green sludge and his height, and that's usually different every time, so. Deku just nods and Lunar pulls up the book and opens a portal. They're outside of an abandoned warehouse. Deku's expression is a little sad but he shakes it off. They both enter the warehouse to see the sludge villain. The slides villain's eyes widen. Sludge villain. Holy shit kid, you look good for a dead man. Deku. Yeah well, somebody wants you to die and the angel of death is here to deliver, but when you get to How, head to the Hazbin hotel and just tell a cat man named Husk that Izuku sent you. Sludge villain. Will do kid, so you're gonna make it quicker. Is it one of those deaths where I need to feel everything I did? Deku pulls out Every and Ivory, puts both guns to the sludge villain eyes and pulls the trigger, making the sludge villain's death quick. Luna decides to chill out on Earth for a little bit since they're not expected to be back for another half an hour. Luna. So anything good to do on Earth, or is it all just heroes and villains? Deku. There's an emo shop not far from here. Luna just shrugs and gestures for Deku to read. The way Luna sees a bunch of billboards all about heroes, Luna just sighs. That's when they enter the shop Deku was talking about. She sees it's an old-fashioned one, not the newer day ones. She hears Last Resort playing in the background and is slightly bobbing her head to the music. Luna drags Deku to the clothing area and start looking around. That's when she sees a black laced bra and panties with shaped like a pentagram. She takes a look at it and walks through the changing room. She then puts it on and comes out. Deku's embarrassed but he's trying To act nonchalant but his failing miserably, Luna sees a black spike color with red spikes. She takes a peacock and then grabs it. That's when Luna remembers that she doesn't have any earth money and is about to put it back, but Deku swipes it from her and decides to pay for it all. Deku, you can pay me back one day. Luna is about to protest, but Deku brings the stuff to the tail and pays for it. That's when they both realize that they took way longer than half an hour and needs to head back to hell, so Deku uses his card and they end up in an alleyway next to a ice cream place that Katie Killjoy likes. That's when Deku and Luna walk straight in the middle of the road and a truck is about to hit Luna. Deku immediately shoots out the tires and the truck goes swerving straight into the ice cream shop. Luna, is that going to buy this in the ass? Deku, don't care, because that was Killjoy's favorite place. They both head back to Imp and as they walk in, Deku sees the sludge villain sat in the corner. Deku, Blitzo, what is he doing here? Sludge villain, well, it's a long story on that bad long. I met this guy while trying to get away from the guy who wanted me dead, and well, long story short, he hired me, so now a part of Imp. Deku, just make sure not to use your real name, there's people can get you into contracts that way. Deku pulls out the black card and snaps his fingers. There's some reason he feels exhausted and stumbles straight into the dorm building. He then heads to his room and puts both of his guns on his bedside table and squeeze in the middle of Charlie and Veggie. We cut to the next day in a bar. We see a man with hands covering his body scratching at his neck and disintegrating a controller. Shigaraki, down my hate this game, hand me the bag of games. Kurogiri. Kurogiri passes him a bag of fidget toys and other hand games. That's when his eyes land on a black cube with golden carvings all over it. He twists one part of it and it starts to play in the 8-bit version All Heal Shadow. Shigaraki, holy shit, this thing plays 8-bit music. I was running out batteries anyway. We cut to Ua a few seconds earlier. Every video is doing their own thing. Then Momo, Deku and Charlie hear the song that was playing when Momo opened the carnage trap. Momo hotel head and starts freaking out. Well, knives and swords start coming out of her body. Aizawa sees this and calls recovery girls. But that's when Deku sees the parts where weapons are coming out of her with a bit black fur. A few seconds later, recovery girl comes badging in and looking over Momo and Deku helped by removing the weapons without hurting Momo. Momo comes down when the music stopped, but then she realizes covering her body. Deku makes sure the spots are covered for now and whispers to recovery girl. Deku, I think we need to get her out of the class before anyone that realizes, because I think I forgot to mention something. Recovery girl, I'll have her in the recovery area until your class is done, then come and see us and I'll bring Nezu. That's when Momo and recovery go walking out. Everybody looks at Deku with confusion. Deku, she heard something that gave her PTSD, so she won't be joining us in class. That's when All Might and Inko comes in doing their hero catchphrases and everybody apart from Deku and Charlie are excited. All Might, now before we head to where we'll be doing this hero lesson, you're gonna need your hero costumes. Everybody gets their hero costumes and heads to the changing room. That's when everybody sees that Deku isn't using the UA suitcases. Iida, Carmen, do you mind explaining why your briefcase of a UA standard? Deku, well, that's because mine isn't UA standard. I had mine made by a friend in America, and before you ask, it is military grade. Katsuki, you think you're better than us just because you got a military grade suit. Katsuki and Shoto look annoyed at Deku. We cut to the final battle of the day. Inko, well, since everybody has had their turn except for Carmen, and since Hatsume is currently in the infirmary after one of her inventions blew up. All Might whispered to Deku in a serious tone. All Might, you should stop playing this rebellious game and come home with your real parents. All Might walk to the front and look at the Bakugo and Todoroki twins and they nod back. Katsumi, okay Deku, I'm getting tired of you playing this little rebellious game, so I challenge you to a waiver. If we win, you have to go back to the Yagi household. Deku, I declined. Everybody goes quiet at that, and that's when All Might and Inko decide to take matters into their own hand. Inko, you know I could fail you, right? Deku, and I know you won't, because if you do, I'll just return to the place that actually cares about me. All Might, well, I'll see you fill this test unless you can beat Yagi and the Bakugo and Todoroki twins, and it will be first one conscious not defuse the bomb. Charlie's about to say something, but Deku just spreads his wings and a grenade falls right in front of the wall, blown a hole through it, and Deku flies out, hiding away from them. Around 5 minutes later, Izumi and the Bakugo and Todoroki twins set off looking for Deku. Deku is stood on top of the Building with his wings spread wide, everybody is worrying about Deku. The fact that it's a 5v1, but Deku crosses his arms and slowly starts to fly above. Their eyes lock with Deku's. Deku, you know I was going to take this easy on you and only use a few grenades, maybe a few flashbangs, but that doesn't help at all, so I'm showing you what true power really looks like. Everybody's confused, but then Deku spreads his arms and yells in a slightly demonic and angelic. Deku, max ammo. That's when what looks like the entire America spending budget on rocket launchers, grenade launchers and every kind of gun. Deku winds up a monkey and throws it in front of them. It starts clapping its tamarins together for around 10 seconds. Monkey bomb. Get ready for a surprise. Before anyone could act, the monkey bomb explodes, sending all of them flying into the walls, and Deku snaps his fingers. All the guns point at them and start firing with all kinds of non-lethal rounds. The Bakugo twins start creating explosions to be in the air. Deku looks at them, unsnaps his fingers too. A-10 warthogs appear next to him, and before they could do anything, the missiles launch from it, hitting them, sending them flying, breaking a few of their bones. Deku looks at the absolute destruction of the city and the 5 unconscious bodies surrounding him. His wings go in and the guns and jets disappear. Deku walks back into the observation room. Deku, and now you know why I'm America's angel. Deku stumbles into Charlie's arms and falls asleep. Charlie brings him to Recovery Girl's office. After 20 minutes, Deku wakes up and sees Recovery Girls. Recovery Girl, know that your way. We can talk about what you forgot to mention. Deku, sure, but where's Momo? Recovery Girl moves the curtain next to her to reveal a black hellhound. Momo, so explain why I look like a wolf. Deku, hellhound, see, I haven't seen a carnage trap open personally, so there's a few details that kind of slip to my mind. Well, whoever opens a carnage trap is hellbound straight away, because usually they die by whatever comes out, but for some reason they ignored you. But since you didn't go to hell, and guessing your hell body went to you, so yeah, now you're a hellhound. Nezu walks in with Charlie. Nezu, I've been doing my research on some pro heroes and I need you to meet some of the ones that have involvement with the supernatural. Deku, so when? We do a small cut to where at the UA Stadium Deku sees Mirko, Mount Lady Ray, Endeavor, Night Eye and Ryako. Mirko, get to the point, rat, why have you called us all here? Nezu, well, it's about the supernatural. Everybody here has had some encounters with them, some more than others, so I would like you all to explain how you're connected to the supernatural. Charlie, I'll go first. I'm Charlie Morningstar and I'm Lucifer's and Lilith's daughter. Ray, I guess I'm going next. 10 years ago I made a deal with a demon called Alistair. Mount Lady, well, I met some gargoyle things attacking a cemetery not long ago. Deku, I'm guessing grave jackals. They mainly feed off corpses that have been dead a while, so the main feeding place is a graveyard. Everybody looks at Deku. The fact that he knew exactly what it was just from the description. Deku, what I do research and I stumbled across stuff roving the supernatural, so I decided to study everything about it. Endeavor, let's just get this over with. I met these succubus back when I was in America a while back. Night Eye, I jumped into these assassins. I think they were killing people for hire. Deku, I'm guessing it was imp. A bit messy, but the pros are what they do and what they do isn't pretty. Veggie, well, I'm an angel. I died in the early 2000s and since then I've been into heaven until around 3 years ago and I'm dating the princess of hell. Ryako, I guess me, well, a lot like Night Eye. I bumped into the same people killing villain I was hunting down. Momo, well, I thumped into the more chaotic versions of demons and I may not be a hellhound now because of it. Mirko, what do you mean by more chaotic versions of demons? Deku, she opened the carnage trap and became a hellhound because of it. Mirko, okay, how do you know this? Because carnage traps is not in the supernatural shit of this world. Well, I guess I'm going next. I've been killing demons in that for as long as I can remember and I'm the Doomslayer and Daisy's daughter. Deku, I didn't know John and Daisy had a kid. Mirko, I'm sorry, you're on the first name basis with them. Deku, I guess it's my turn. When I was 5 I went to the Doom Dimension, as people from here know it has, and I may or may not have spent some time hanging around with the Doomslayer and Daisy, aka killing demons for fun. Around 10 months ago I died and went to hell, but for some reason I'm an angel. It turns out there was a phylum mistake and I was meant to go to heaven, and the wings of guns was just because I was friends with the Slayer. Mirko, Well shit kid, I'm surprised they never mentioned you to me, but you have any proof so I know you're not just lying. But if you know my dad and mum, that means it makes sense how you know about a carnage trap. I still don't believe you about you knowing them. Deku pulls out the Slayer shotgun. Mirko, this is bullshit. I'm not even allowed to hold that thing and yet you casually have it. Deku, I can make an icon of sin. Step back in consideration. Mirko goes quiet. Angst sits there pouting. She then jumps up and stares down Nezu. Mirko, explain why you wanted us to explain how we know the supernatural. Nezu, well, after the UA Sports Festival I want to go public with the supernatural. What do you all think? Deku gets an analytical look in his eyes. Deku, on one hand could bring chaos, people knowing about the supernatural, but knowing the government they might play it off as just more advanced quirks and make everybody forget about the supernatural by just saying it's all about quirks. But for the select few that do believe, well, that could bring more chaos since all religions are right, but they all have their own different heaven and hell, which means there would be arguments between religions about which one is the real one. But then we have the other hand, everybody believes us, we government doesn't play enough, and we gotta show them that not all demons are bad and not all angels are good, but that would be easier said than done. Matter. Deku is muttering about the pros and cons about if everybody knew about the supernatural. He continues to matter for around 29 minutes. Veggie kisses him, making him snap out of his muttering and embrace the kiss. Veggie, hey Izuku, you're mothering again. Deku, sorry, force of habit. Charlie, so how much of that did you all get? I only got like it the first minute of it. What about you lot? Momo, you lost me around the 15-minute mark. Everybody shakes their heads except for Ryuko. She starts to cry. Everybody looks at her. Ryuko, sorry, it's just you're definitely Hasashi's boy, there's no doubt about it. Deku, I'm sorry, you know my biological dad. Ryuko, of course I know Hasashi, he was my twin. I got the change into dragon, he got the dragon's breath. Deku, but that would make you my aunt, but why haven't you? Ryuko, Inko didn't want me to have anything to do with you. That's when Ryuko turns into her dragon form and wraps her body around him, and Deku feels a familiar warmth and falls asleep. Ryuko, sorry, I just. Charlie drugs Veggie into the dragon cuddle pile and they all fall asleep. Nezu, I'm confused, what just happened? Ryuko, well, dragons are like most lizards where they can smell their own blood and it smells relaxing and helps calm their nerves. Nezu, and I'm guessing since his dad is your twin. After around 20 minutes Ryuko moves and Deku wakes up feeling refreshed. We cut to Nezu's office a few hours later. Inko and All Might, they are looking at Nezu annoyed. All Might, what is this about? Nezu, oh, I don't know, maybe the fact that one of the UA cities are completely destroyed because of what you did. They're about to say something but Nezu races his core. Nezu, this will be your last warning. If you attempt anything against Izuku, I'm sorry, but you'll be packing up your stuff and leaving. Oh, and don't even try to get the other 5 to do something like that, because I have 5 empty seats in 5 different classes of general education and they won't be getting into the hero course, understand? Inko and All Might nod and walk out. Deku is walking into the dorms with Charlie, Veggie hanging on his arms and Momo on his back, flustered. Suyu, so you're back, and what's with the wolf girl? Momo, what do you mean wolf girl? Kendo, wait, Momo. Before anything, Momo passes out on Deku's back but snuggling into the back of his neck. Deku, yes, that is Momo. Iida, but explain why she looks like that. Deku, well, you've heard of quirk evolution. It's when somebody's quirk after a traumatic or stressful instance their quirk force itself to evolve, but since Momo's quirk of rolled around creation, it tucked into her mom's quirk genes, and since her mom had an animal-based quirk. Muttering. Momo, you're muttering again. Deku, sorry, I can't like that, mainly around topics of quirks. Iida and Kendo, I got lost halfway through. Veggie picks up Momo from Deku's back. Veggie is holding Momo bridal style. Before Deku could let out a chuckle, Charlie picks him up the same way and cabbies them to their bedroom. Charlie puts Deku on the bed next to Momo. That when Deku see Charlie and Veggie take a swig of one of Angel Dust's strongest energy drinks, Deku lets out a soft groan. Momo, oh fuck. Veggie, sure you asked for it. Veggie takes a huge sip of the energy drink, grapes Momo by the neck and pull her in for a kiss. Veggie uses a tongue to open Momo's mouth and starts feeding Momo the energy drink through a kiss. After a few seconds, Momo stops fighting the back and her arms goes numb for a second. Momo's tail starts Swishing like a predator ready to punch, Momo walks on all fours to Deku. Charlie turns into her demon form and runs one of her court fingers down Deku's body from his neck to his waist and then rips his clothes off in one clean motion. Deku, I don't have any condoms. Vaggie, well, today is my safe day. Momo, and I can make morning after pills. Deku goes quiet as Momo starts moving her tail around Deku's dick, slowly starts to rub it. Vaggie grabs a strap on and pushes Charlie against the wall. Vaggie, I get Izuku after you, Momo. Momo, I hope he's got stamina left to this wolf about to go wild. Deku, do I get this say in this? Momo positions herself right above Deku's dick and lets out a soft growl. Deku, well, hope you ready to stumble to class tomorrow. Deku grabs Momo's hands and turns her over with her legs hanging off the edge of the bed. Momo let out a soft seductive growl. Deku starts moving his hips back and forward. Momo, how are you so good? Deku, I have the Princess of Hell as one of my fiancé plus Husk gave me a few tips and tricks. Momo lights out a huge howl. Welcoming Deku continues going and grabs Momo's boobs, start playing with her nipples. Momo create a muzzle to stop herself from breaking the windows with how loud she is howling. Deku starts thrusting all the way and finally comes in. Momo is lying there passed out from pleasure with a silly smile on her face. Vaggie wraps arms around Deku's neck and turn him around for a passionate kiss. Vaggie, fuck my brains out. Deku, and I'm guessing Charlie is satisfied for the minute. Deku sees Charlie would accept a spied smile while leaning against the wall. She's gotten full demonic and looking at Deku with a hungry look. Deku, well, I'll try and make it fast since I don't want to keep the Princess of Hell waiting. Deku rams his dick straight into Vaggie's vagina and pushes her down next to Momo. He leans down while moving his hips and bite Vaggie's nipples, making her own loud. That's when Momo create a ball gag and her tail puts it in Vaggie's mouth. Deku starts going faster and harder. Vaggie passes out from the intensity. Charlie, I hope you're ready cause we're gonna be at this all night. Charlie jumps on Deku. We cut to the next day. Charlie wakes up, her head is hurting her, but then she sees Deku and Vaggie hugging. He sees a black tail swishing around on the other side and immediately assumes it's Momo. She gently gets up but realizes she's naked and covered in cum when Charlie moves. She nudges Deku's and Vaggie wings, making them both wake up. Vaggie, why does it feel like my body got hit by a train? Vaggie tries to get up but can't feel her legs. She looks at an unconscious Momo next to them with a huge brain and her tail wagging. Vaggie uses her wing to nudge Momo awake. Momo slowly wakes up. Momo, okay, is it just me or can you to not feel your likes? Charlie and Vaggie, actually we can't hyper. Deku picks up Vaggie as he moves Vaggie. He moves his dick out of her vagina making her moan. Deku, Charlie and Momo look at it. Wade, Momo blushing. Charlie's eyes lock with one of Angel Dust's energy drinks. Charlie, so that's what I'm covered in. Deku, yeah, it's a good thing we got our own shower. All of them let out soft laugh. Charlie picks up Vaggie and curries her to the shower. Deku is left in the room with Momo. Momo, so can you explain what that was cause I don't even remember a bit of it in. Deku, the porn star I was talking about is Angel Dust. He's a good person but well he kinda has the fingers buying energy drinks that are made for sex and I'm guessing Charlie and Vaggie grabbed one thinking it was one of theirs. One thing led to a next and well now we have this. Momo not a long while creating morning after pills. She takes one and leave the rest on the side for the other two. Momo, so is this just the one night thing or? Charlie, NOP you're one of us now. Deku and Momo look at the bathroom door and let out a soft chuckle. Deku, so we can join them or wait till after? Momo, I don't mind. Deku picks up Momo and heads into the bathroom. We cut to an hour later. Everybody is sat in the common area, all the girls looking tired and embarrassed. Momo's tail is still wagging like a puppy. Juro, it sounds like you four had fun last night. Deku, I'm sorry what? Kendo, wolves are soundproof but the door isn't. Deku, fuck you rat. Mineta, how in the actual fuck could you satisfy 3 women at once? All the boys go quiet and look at Deku. Deku you just shrugs. Deku, no offense, why would I tell you anything, pervert? Tori and Mina drugs Momo, Charlie and Vaggie and starts bombarding them with questions. Deku sees the time and sees they got in around half an hour to get to class. Deku picks up Momo and Charlie. Deku, Vaggie, try not to mention anything to Aunt Midnight or you won't hear the end of it. Vaggie nods and grabs her spear while walking out the door. Iida, isn't it illegal to carry a weapon around especially on school campus? Deku, what about my wings? Iida just goes quiet at that and Deku carries Momo and Charlie to the class. He carries them to their seats and sits them down while he sits in the middle of them. Aizawa looks at them. Aizawa, hey problem child, at least tell me you would being safe last night. Deku, don't worry, Momo creates some morning after pills. Aizawa, but one thing I have to know, how can you satisfy free women to the point where they pass out? Deku, why do you want to know? Aizawa, I lost the bat and now I'm dating joke, and don't let her hear this, but it's less annoying than I thought. Deku, well, try to pace yourself when doing it, nothing too fast or too heavy until you know she's on the edge. Aizawa looks at Deku and not 10 minutes later the class arrives 5 minutes before the bell rings. Aizawa, there is no asking problem child about what happened last night. I had a word with the rat and you'll be soundproofing all the doors as well, and about the incident yesterday with the press breaking onto the school ground, it has been sorted and now you're gonna have to choose a class president. Sort it however you want and taking a nap. Aizawa grabs his sleeping bag and drags it to the corner. He then falls asleep and everybody starts asking everybody to choose them. Katsuki, extras fucking pick me or I'll blow you back to Kingdom Come. Momo, how about we settle it with a vote? Suyu, but wouldn't everybody just vote for themselves? Kiro. Iida, if that's the case then the person with the most votes will become class president. Deku, oh, how about just no voting for yourself? Everybody looks at Def View and agrees that would be the smart idea. After 20 minutes of people's voting, the votes are as followed. Iida, the vote is as follows. Izuku Carmen 5 votes. Charlie Morningstar 0 votes. Momo Yaoyorozu 4 votes. Katsuki Bakugo 0 votes. Katsumi Bakugo 1 votes. Shoto Todoroki 0 votes. Shoko Todoroki 0 votes. Tenya Iida 0 votes. Suyu Asui 0 votes. Ochako Uraraka 0 votes. Eijiro Kirishima 0 votes. Izumi Yagi 4 votes. Denki Kaminari 0 votes. Mina Ashido 0 votes. Fumikage Tokiyami 0 votes. Kyoka Jiro 0 votes. Toru Hagakuri 0. Mei Hatsume 0 votes. Itsuka Kendo 0 votes. Koji Koda 0 votes. Mezzo Shoji 0 votes. Rikido Sato 0 votes. Masharao Ojiro 0 votes. Yui Kodai 0 votes. Minoru Mineta 0 votes. That would make Izuku Carmen a class president, but there's a type of vice president. Denki, hold on, where's Mineta? Everybody looks at Mineta's empty seat. Deku, why, he's getting replaced by Hitoshi Shinso, who should be here soon, and I'm taking Momo as my voice rap.
That was Hazbin, Ripping Carnage, Chapter 1 and 2 on Wattpad. Now, I will also be taking comments and suggestions, so if you want to see a fanfiction, put it in the comment down below and I will check it out and then put it on to the channel. But here are the rules. 1. It has to be on Wattpad. Now, I know that sounds a bit weird, but it's mainly because I don't know how to work fanfiction.net. Compared to Wattpad, which is as simple as literally just finding what you want and then pressing accept or read and that. So yeah, also my challenge is still up for anyone. And just enjoy yourselves. This is Wolf React. See you on the flip side.